and welcome to Bubble Talk once again. I'm so happy that all of you guys are here. Just to let you know, we did put in another mic because I heard there was some sound problems from the last one, but we're going to take care of it today. All right, so let's take a look at the bubble tea of today. In my pink cup from Chateau, this is a matcha latte with cheese and herbal jelly. Okay, so it's the matcha latte with cheese on top with herbal jelly. It's not real cheese, but let's try it. Well, you know what? This is like my third time I've had matcha latte or the green tea macchiato, so this is just really, really good. I do recommend it for all of you guys too. It is a green tea macchiato from Koi, which is so good. With I don't like pearls, so I don't get pearls, but I get the herbal jelly. And here, this from Chateau, same thing, matcha latte, not as good as Koi, but it's pretty good. And I got with cheese. Both of them have cheese. Oh, it's so good. Okay, either way. So everyone, grab your bubble teas, grab your lattes, your coffees or teas or whatever it is you have, and let's begin today's Bubble Talk on how to be consistent. All right. So this is kind of cool. Because last week, in Bubble Talk, we talked about starting something new. So as people are starting to try new things, one of the things that we kind of get into is we don't stay consistent, and then we kind of just, that thing we started new is no longer there anymore. So that's why this week it is fitting to talk about how to how to be consistent, okay? So I'm going to go into the first verse of the day, right from the get-go. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. And basically what it says is, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. What does it say? Let nothing move you, right? There's going to be things that try to take you off your consistent track. But even when it comes to our faith, even when it comes to other things that are very difficult, yeah, it's hard to be consistent because there are so many things, distractions, things that are pulling us back or down that makes it very, very difficult for us to stay consistent, right? Whether it's faith, whether it's exercise, friendship, marriage, family, any of these things, anything that is important needs consistency in order for it to survive, right? So the thing I want to tell you is, to keep things important, you keep things with consistency. Keep them with consistency. Okay. Now, this is why consistency is so important. Okay. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 16, there's this crazy verse from God. And it basically says, you're lukewarm, neither hot nor cold. I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. And you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds so terrible. But let me tell you something. People hate inconsistency. You know, you're either hot or cold. Because don't you have those things when you can't stand it, when people don't do what they're supposed to do? Consistency is you're either hot, which means you're always consistent, you're always doing it, or you're cold, or you never do it. And you know what? You can trust those two people. Because someone who is always consistent, you trust them, they will always do the consistent thing. People who are cold never do it, which means that you can still trust them because you know that you will never ask them because they'll never do it. But someone who's in the middle, sometimes they do like 3 or 4 in a row and you're like, oh, I think I can trust this guy. And then the next moment they completely don't do it. And you're like, I thought I can trust them. And that's when you feel betrayed, right? Yeah, lukewarm is even us, not just God, right? It's us. Human beings hate it. They hate inconsistency. It just kills us. Whether it's school projects, whether it's someone coming to work, someone taking over your shift. Isn't that the worst case? Where you give your shift to someone else and then they don't go and then they call you and say, hey, where were you? You're supposed to be here at work. And you're like, it's supposed to be them. And the worst thing is when they slept in or something. Ugh. Right? So today we're going to go over how can we be consistent. Okay? And we're going to talk about some of the things that we need to do. Actually, I'm going to talk about 4 things. 4 things that are going to help you stay consistent in the things you've just started or the things you may have started but you stopped already, okay? So just like I told you before, been to 23 countries, been a missionary, been a pastor, all these are different things. And I'm going to share my experience with you and what I've learned that will help you become consistent. Okay, number 1, first thing to help us to be consistent. Number 1 is don't forget why, right? There's got to be some bigger reason why you started this in the first place, okay? So I'm going to take a look at Psalms chapter 46, verse 1. And in Psalms chapter 46, verse 1, it's very interesting. right? Because what it says there, it says that we have to be people, right, that are always doing it, right? Do we have it up here? We don't have it up here. Okay, so I'm going to find it for you right now. Psalms chapter 46, verse 1, and I'm going to read it for you. You know what? This is actually my fault because I'm the one that posts up the stuff. Psalm chapter 46, verse 1. I'm going to read it here off my phone. It says, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. Okay? An ever-present help in trouble. What does that mean? It means that he's always there. The reason why people, when you have faith and we can kind of push forward is because if there's God who is always there, right? For us, there's a bigger reason why we can continue with it. There's a bigger reason. Oh, God is there, so you know what? I can still push through because God wants me to do this, right? Forgetting the why, right? The reason why you started. Let me tell you a cool thing about in my life. My dad used to be a heavy smoker, like heavy smoker, because he was in the army in Korea, and he smoked, every day and stuff like that. And then my dad quit smoking, right? He quit smoking because he had his first child. And when he had his first child, he realized, oh my gosh, I'm killing my kids. This is not good for my children. So he quit cold turkey. He might have not quit during my brother. When my brother's the first child. He might not quit during that time because my brother's kind of weird. Just kidding. I don't think he's watching, right? Right? But my dad quit because there's a bigger reason why he stopped smoking. It was for his children. There's a motivation behind it. The why, the reason why you do something should be driving you continuously to do that thing that you're doing right now. For instance, some people all of a sudden have cancer. So because of that cancer, it's driving them to eat healthier. It's driving them to exercise. It's driving them to get rid of the bad habits, right? That is the why. Some people become doctors. Why? They become a doctor because their mom died of cancer and they want to be someone who can do something for their mom. And because of that, it doesn't matter how hard it is, right? It doesn't matter how, it's so, I just spat on myself. That's how unhard it is, right? So it's when it becomes something you have an actual reason, like a big motivating factor, it continues to drive you. And if you don't forget that why, you're going to keep going. The problem is you go through difficult things, you get distractions that take your focus and puts it on the wrong things, right? And that's why when you forget your why, you wonder why you're doing it in the first place and you just quit. Right? So number one is there's got to be, before you even start, there's got to be a reason why you started it, right? Like I'm going to tell you even right now, some people start losing weight because they're going to get married this year. And it makes sense. You want to look good in your wedding pictures that are going to be there for the rest of your life. Makes sense, right? Some people there's some people who are like, I got to look good for the beach this year. And honestly, it doesn't matter this year because coronavirus. Doesn't make a difference. Everyone's getting fat, right? You know what they say? They say everyone's got, I got my corona weight. Everyone's gained weight during the coronavirus. For me, I've lost 4.5 kilograms. Pretty crazy, right? I think I gained a lot of it back already from all these bubble teas. Either way, that's number one. Don't forget your why. The number two thing is, there are a lot of things that you want to change. There are a lot of things. Like for instance, if you have cancer, you have to stop eating sugar and you have to start exercising. One of the things that's very difficult is, I'm going to tell you something about your brain. Your brain cannot multitask well. It doesn't mean you can't multitask, but research has shown that people cannot multitask well. What does that mean? It means that, have you seen those like amazing mothers? They like carrying a baby. They're like cooking, they're on the phone, right? And then with their legs, they're like putting the garbage away into the garbage can. And they're doing like 15 things at the same time while they're watching TV. It's crazy, okay? But the thing that research shows that the moment you split your things on two things, so just doing two things, you cannot do as well as focusing on one thing. Which means this, pick one. That's my number two thing. The number two thing advice I give to you guys right now in order for you to stay consistent is don't do two things, pick one. Just pick one, right? You can't cook and then be on the phone, hold a baby, throw away the garbage, watch TV, and have the radio on at the same time. It doesn't make any sense because you're not going to focus on any one of them anyways, right? You're just going to kind of be like average or less than average on a bunch of things. It is better to focus on one. Don't sit there like, oh my gosh, I got to quit smoking, I got to quit drinking, I got to quit this, plus I got to quit sugar. Is not going to work. Pick one and focus on one thing before you move to the next one. Okay, so this one is pick one. Let's move over to the third thing that we need to think about. What's the third thing we need to think about? Third thing, advice, things we need to do in order to stay consistent. Mistakes don't mean failure. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean that you failed and that you're not consistent. Okay? I'm going to take a look at 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 9, because this is something as part of my faith. One thing I realize is God is actually expecting mistakes. What does it say here? The Lord your God is gracious and compassionate. He will not turn his face from you if you return to him. Okay? If God was expecting perfection, there would be no such thing as forgiveness. There wouldn't be there, right? But because there's forgiveness and he allows you to come back, I'm fine with it. It means that even God is not expecting people to be perfect. There's a reason there's forgiveness. It's because there's an expectation that things that we've never done before, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. There's, excuse me, there's always going to be bumps in the road. And sometimes we're going to fall off, right? Oh, actually, I'm wondering, because this is from my generation. I'm not sure it's from your generation. It's something called falling off the wagon. You guys have you ever heard of that? None of you have heard of that, right? This is like from my generation, which is like 40 plus years ago. And I'm sure none of you, like falling off the wagon originally was like people who used to be alcoholics. And to fall off the wagon means that they started drinking again. So if you're on the wagon, it means that you're not drinking, you're sober. And then if you fall off the wagon, that basically means that you started drinking again. So, you basically had a bad habit, you try to stop it, and you go back to the bad habit, right? And there's a whole thing behind it. But I'm going to kind of change the meaning today, right? I'm going to just change it up, because the original meaning was like there's a wagon cart, a water wagon. Basically where people get clean water, they drink from that wagon cart. So if you're on the wagon, it means that instead of alcohol, you're drinking water from the water wagon, right? I'm going to completely change that. I want you to think about it another way. Imagine you're in a bad place and you want to get out of there. So there's a wagon that comes by and you jump on the wagon and it's taking you further and further away from that bad place. Now, when you fall off the wagon, what happens is it means that you start wanting to go back to that place, and then you run back, right? Now, here's the thing. Even though you fall off the wagon, it doesn't mean you failed yet. Why? Because we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be bumps along the way. But put it this way, when you fall off the wagon is still really close, right? It's still right there, which means that all you have to do is like take a couple steps and jump back on and you're fine. The problem is, most people fall off the wagon and then they just watch the wagon go away and like, and the wagon just keeps getting further and further away. It's like you gave up the moment you fell off the wagon, when you have to understand we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be bumps in the road, and the bumps hit the wagon and we fall off. Did you have the picture of the wagon there? Show us a picture of the wagon so the people know what the wagon looks like. This is what the wagon looks like in the old days. It's got a horse pulling this wagon cart. Is it there? No? All right. So there's this wagon cart back in the old Western days. Haven't you guys seen it? There's someone on this big circular thing. And then all of a sudden, there's someone in the front with the horses dragging the thing over, right? And that's what a wagon is. And every little bump, remember, there's no shocks like today on cars. Every little bump like changes everything. It doesn't matter anymore, right? So we're going to move on to the next thing. So what has to happen is, even though you fall off the wagon, the thing that matters more is what? What matters more is, if you fall off, you got to get back on the wagon right away. You just got to get back on it. Because the moment you fall over, the wagon's still right there. The longer and longer you wait, the further and further the wagon is, and then the more and more you want to give up. Don't worry. Mistake doesn't mean failure. You fall off, you get back on. You fall off, and you get back on. Don't worry about it, okay? We're expected not to be perfect. Even God doesn't think we're going to be perfect, right? He's going to forgive anyways, right? Not anyways, but he's going to forgive. So we have to be those that realize that mistake doesn't mean failure, okay? Then we're going to move on to the last thing, okay? The last one here, number 4, is super important. And this one is proper accountability, okay? Now, accountability, we all know what that is, but I'm talking about proper accountability. I'm gonna take a look at this wise saying from the book of Proverbs, chapter 15:22. And it says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Okay, now what does that mean? It says counsel, lack of counsel, and advisors. Now, advisors are a little bit different than friends, okay? And I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that don't use your friends, but in most cases, friends are not good people to hold you accountable. When you have a team that wants to do something together, usually friends are not that good. And I'm going to tell you why friends, I'm talking to all, but usually speaking, the reason why friends are bad people to hold you accountable, number one is they really like you and they love you a lot. Which means that sometimes they will not tell you the truth. Sometimes they won't tell you how bad it really is. Why? Because they don't want to say something bad to their friend and then feel like the friendship's going to break up because I did this. You got to think about this. That's why athletes get coaches, and the coaches tell them, dude, this is wrong. Come on, man, what are you doing? And they motivate. They yell at them and tell them, come on, we can do this. You can do it. And they motivate. And they don't care if they say something bad to you. Friends, on the other hand, sometimes have to think about that. The second thing about friends is this. Friends won't say everything to you. First, they won't tell you the truth sometimes. And the second thing is they won't say everything. They're going to hold back. Why? Because sometimes they do wrong things. They fell off the wagon. And then they feel bad telling you to do something which they just did. Right? And that's why friends sometimes is not a very good idea to have accountability partners that are too close to you. Maybe not friends. Friends that word is too generic. People that are too close. Because they care about you, they don't want to hurt you. So they won't say everything and they won't say the truth. Okay? So friends have that feeling towards you, so it's a little bit difficult. So when you have proper accountability means you have to have the right people that you trust. Trust means that they will say everything to you and they will tell you the truth to your face. Because sometimes we got to hear it. Okay? We need people holding us accountable. You need a team. And without that, we always fall off, and you fall off, and you fall off, and it's very difficult by yourself. Now, when I say that you have to have a team, remember it says that have proper counsel and advisors, which means it's better to have 3 than 2. If it's just 2 of you together, I'll tell you why it's hard, right? Let's take a look at Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12. It talks about, one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves, but a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Having 3 is much, much better. Why? Because when it's accountability, one of the hard parts is sometimes people go through rough times. So let's say the person holding you accountable is not going through a very good time, which means that they're not going to be so keen, they're not going to be so on it. And when they're not on it, and then you're not on it, there's no one to hold you accountable. And that's why 3 is better. It's always better to have 3 rather than 2. I'm not saying you have a group of 10. 3. 3 is great, right? 3 is good. 3 is much better because usually you're not going to have everyone going to be going like this together, right? Because that's what we've seen in life. In life, I'm down, but my friends are okay. Then I get really upset and jealous because they're doing fine, but I'm not. Oh, God, why'd you do this? And then on the other side, you're doing really well. Someone else not doing well. It's oh, my gosh, I got to help this person, right? We've seen it all the time. And everyone has these different waves, ebbs, and flows. And that's why it's really good that you have 3 people. Because 2 people, it's much easier for 2 people to hit the same bad wave at the same time, right? And then everyone falls off the wagon. So 3 is better than 2. There's this one wise thing I heard. And, I've been, as I was studying more and more about this, one of the wisest things I heard was this. It says, your life, think about this very carefully. It's a very, very deep thing. Your life is a reflection of those around you. Wow. Think about that. Your life right now is a reflection of those around you. So if those around you are really motivated, if those around you are just ready to just go out and take on the world, it's very easy for us to do the same thing. But let's just say your friends are not highly motivated, And there are people that don't really care about life, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they just have really, really bad habits all the time. Then when you have a bad habit, they let it go because that's what they're like. And if all your friends around you are like this, your life is basically a reflection of all the people around you. And this is why people, like if you're people who are not motivated or lazy, usually all of them are lazy. And people who are very highly motivated and successful, their group of friends, it's very easy to be successful in it. So you have to think about this. Look at your life right now, whether it has to do with faith. Are you hanging around with people that really don't care about faith? Like they don't really care at all. Think about work. Are the people you hang out with that don't really care about work? Are you, whether it's like your family, your friends, all these people around you, your life is a reflection of this group of people you're with. And that's something you have to really think about very carefully. Because even like in church, like for myself, as being a pastor of a church before, you see it. There's groups of people that don't really care, and there's groups of people that do care. And the people in the groups that don't really care, most of them don't really care, and they're kind of just there. You have to put yourself around people. Look at your life, and you'll see the reflection of all the people that are around you. And that is something that's really, really important for all of us to do, right? This is why some people are they do so well when they're at work, because everyone at work is just boom, boom, productive, everything else. But when they go home, everyone just wants to relax, and you're not as motivated, right? All right, so I hope that these 4 things really helped you out today. Remember, don't forget your why, the purpose of why you started. Pick one thing, tackle them one thing at a time. Mistake doesn't mean failure, and the last one is proper accountability, okay? I hope that this can help you guys out with your consistency. Even though it's difficult, I know it's going to help you out. But I want you to understand the thing that you understand is consistency does not have to be a very, very difficult. It's difficult, but sometimes because we don't understand or know very well, it becomes harder than it really is, okay? So that is today's talk on how to be consistent. Those of you on Facebook, make sure you click the like. And those of you on YouTube, make sure on Espresso with Sky, click the subscribe button. And also click the bell so you know that whenever we go live every Tuesday, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Those of you from Facebook who want to, I just want to let you know that all the Bubble Talks, we have like 16, 17 of them. They're not all on this site. So if you want to see the other ones and the older ones, just go onto the Espresso with Sky YouTube channel, subscribe and click the like. And we're going to put that into the chat rooms. Secondly, those of you who would like to do Bible study, we're going to do more. We do a little more in-depth Bible studies every Saturday at 1 p.m. If you'd like to join, it's open to everyone. Open to everyone. It's going to be at 1 p.m. on Saturdays in Malaysia time. And we're going to put a link in there so those of you who want to do it can sign up to it. I'm just very grateful and thankful for all of you for coming out today, which means we are going to go into the question and answer, the Q&A. So I'm going to give you guys about 5-6 seconds as I take a drink and sip of my matcha latte, and you guys can start writing down your questions that you have. So I'll give you about 5-6 seconds. Go ahead. Oh, wow, it's so good. Okay. All right. Here we go. Q&A. Q&A from live audiences. All right, we got a couple questions already coming up. First one's from Jim in KL. Jim sounds like a really cool name. Jim says, how can I stay consistent with my exercising? Okay. So this is one thing I really want to help you guys out. When it comes to things that need you actually to do it consistently all the time, like there's an actual thing you need to do, okay? So, for instance, when it comes to exercising, the one reason why people don't exercise and don't stay consistent is because they don't schedule it, right? And that's something you have to think about is scheduling is a very, very important thing when it comes to something like exercising. It's something you need to be consistent every day at the same time. And you need to schedule it, and it has to be non-negotiable, which means that you have to schedule it and make that schedule your priority. Right? Most people, you know what they do? Yeah, I'll exercise when I find time, when I have time to do it. It doesn't work that way. It's just like work. When you go to work, what do? You have a time you work from 9 to 5, and it's not like your friend says to you, hey, you want to go watch a movie at 12? You're not going to watch a movie when you're working from 9 to 5. It is non-negotiable. It is work. In the same way, too, you have to schedule in your exercise. Literally schedule it in. Every Monday to Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am working out from 7:30 to 9. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You got to schedule it. It is non-negotiable. And if you do this, then you're going to become more consistent with it. It's usually because people just try to fit it in anywhere they want. And that's why they're not going to be successful with things like exercising. Cool. Thanks, Jim, for that wonderful question. Let's go to the next question. We're going to PJ. It's Sunny. Sunny and PJ says, I can't stay consistent with eating healthy because preparing them takes too much time. What should I do? Okay, so you got two options. Number one, you can go out to eat, which is expensive, right? So if you want to be someone who can actually stay consistent with something like eating healthy, and it takes a long time to prepare, I'm going to tell you a little bit of secret hint, okay? When you're consistent, there is something that happens. What happens when you're consistent is you start to get better and better at things. It's just like me when I started this YouTube channel. You start off and things take forever, right? Like people have to come in 3 hours early preparing everything. Like, oh my gosh, it takes too much time. Now, everything's prepared like an hour and like 60, 70 minutes before everything's prepared. No one's like nervous. Why? We've done it so many times. We're shortening and shortening the time. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why you want to stick with the consistency is your preparation in this nutritional, healthy diet. It's going to take some time in the beginning, but as you do more and more, you're going to cut off and shave more and more enough time. I'll say one of the things that I shaved enough time in is cooking. During the MCO, during this quarantine time here, for like 3 months, I was cooking a lot. And I started with 2 hours to make pasta. Think about that, 2 hours to make pasta. Ridiculous. Now, it's like 30 to 40 minutes. Save time. Why? Consistency. It shortens the time. You get better and better at it. All right, cool. Thank you, Sunny in PJ. Let's go to the next question. Next question is Yunmei. Yunmei in KL, I believe, right? Yunmei in KL says, if the people around me aren't motivated, does that mean I should change the group of people I'm with? And the answer is, it depends what you want, right? It depends what's more important to you. If it's important to you for you to continue to grow in your life in all the different aspects, right? Then, if that's really, really important to you, then at that point, it's better to change your friends. Seriously. And I'm going to tell you this one thing I told people a lot before is, when it comes to friendships come and go. And I'm very serious about this. How do I know? Friendships are only important at that time. But if you look at your whole life, think about this. When you're in kindergarten, you have a best friend, right? But then when you move to primary school, what happens? You change your friends. And then you're like, oh, my friends are so cool, and my friends in primary school. And then you have a best friend and all these friends you hang out with. And then when you go to middle school, you change them again. And then after middle school, you have these new best friends over there, and then you change them in high school. And then after all this, you change them in university. And then after university, you change them when you go to career. Friends are coming and going. Just gonna be very honest with you guys. Friends come and go. It's only really, really later in life, when it comes to when you finally settle in your life. You're married, you have kids, right? And that's when you have like extremely long friendships. But it's very rare. Like even myself, I'm in my 40s. But the people I hang out with right now, and the people who I'm with, none of them are from high school. None of them even from some from university. But before that, it's very rare that I'm hanging out with the same people from high school, from middle school, even from university. Most of them I'm not hanging out with, right? So life is, you got to kind of look at the big perspective is, wow, are friends like, are they like family? No, because family stays forever, right? Like you can't change family. Even though you want to sometimes, you can't change them, right? So that's my advice I give to you, Yunmei. It is something that depends on your priorities, because if your friends are your priority, then you probably just want to keep your friends, but you do know you'll suffer in the other side. But if you look at the large perspective, friends come and go. It's usually when when you're settled down, that's when the friendships last even a lot longer. So you have to kind of look at what friendship is not just about being cool with each other, but it's also about helping each other grow in life also, okay? Let's go to Melanie. Melanie from the Philippines. Melanie Anmi. Okay, Melanie is asking, is it normal to make mistakes? It's normal to make mistakes, but there are mistakes that we choose to make even though it's something we shouldn't. Like when you decide to stop bad habits, but you do it again. How should we stop it permanently? Okay, so bad habits are usually things that we're kind of you're kind of addicted to them. Like those types of bad habits. Like you know it's wrong, but you do it, which means you're kind of addicted to it, right? And I'm gonna just give you like a chemical answer, a very physiological answer. In your brain, there are 4 chemicals that are about happiness, right? And one of the chemicals is called dopamine. And if we know dopamine is very interesting because it's the one that makes you addicted. It's the addictive chemical. Very, very addictive, right? So those of you on your phones, how many of you check your phone? Right when you wake up, you check your phone first. It probably means you're addicted. If you're at home and you take your phone with you from room to room looking at your phone the whole time, you're probably addicted, right? If you go to eat with your friends and there's 4 of you sitting in front of each other and you're on your phones, you're probably addicted, right? If you have the urge while you're driving, you get a text message and you have some reason you have to answer it while you're driving, you're probably addicted, right? Because dopamine just fires in your brain every time every time you get a text message, it makes you feel good. Oh, I'm wanted. Oh, people like me. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so important. Kind of these types of things, right? And the thing you have to understand is because when dopamine is something, it's so powerful that it happens when it's alcoholics, alcohol, drugs, cell phones, gambling, these type of bad habits are firing dopamine like crazy. And you just want more and more shots of these things in your mind, right? There's another chemical, very, very important. There's another chemical called oxytocin that's in your brain. And this is one of the chemicals that inhibits addiction. It stops addiction. And this has to do with love, trust, family, and friendship. And that's when those things are there, which means that a lot of times people don't have these very meaningful and connected relationships, and that stops you from being addicted to certain things. So those of you who don't know, there's like, for those people who are alcoholics, there's something called Alcoholics Anonymous. They have it everywhere in the world, I think. I'm not sure about Malaysia. I have never seen it in Malaysia. Maybe it's because no one's alcohol. Do people drink alcohol? Everyone drinks alcohol, right? Maybe just everyone's an addict, so you don't need to, I don't know, right? So what happens is there's a 12-step program of how to stop drinking, right? But the 12th step, the very last one is, you need to help someone else stop drinking. And if you do that, you can stop. And that's why you need accountability groups, helping each other to stop bad habits. So if you have a bad habit, Melanie, you need to have a group of people that are all trying to stop it, that are motivated. You have to have people holding you accountable. Or it's not all of you with the same bad habit, but people you trust, a group of 3 that will help you, hold you accountable, right? And you should be helping someone else with that too. And this will inhibit addiction, right? Close, connected friendships, families, relationships, these inhibit addiction. So my big thing to you is it's helping someone else get over the same bad habit is one of the most powerful ways to do it. Oxytocin actually stops people from addiction. Okay? Thank you, Melanie. Great question. Let's go to, is it Grace? Grace Leguarda. Okay. Grace. Okay. Grace from the Philippines, Manila. How can you be consistent in doing something that you don't like but have to do? Okay, so let's think about something that you don't like but you have to do. Like for instance, kids hate vegetables. They don't like it, but they have to eat it. Some people don't like exercise. They don't like putting energy in. They don't like it, but they have to do it, right? And this, once again, it's two big powerful things I talked about today is, number one is, you need to find a why. It's got to be you got to have a bigger reason for it. Like you can't just do it. Like, is this a good enough reason? Hey, why should I eat vegetables? Because you have to. And if that's the reason, it's not strong enough. You got to think about the thing that you're trying to do, research it, see why it's important. See what happens if you consistently don't do it. It's like, that's why with cigarettes too, sometimes people are motivated because, oh my gosh, I'm killing my children. I can kill myself, right? Because people are, that's your own choice. But killing other people, that's a bigger thing, right? That's why people feel worse when their mistake kills someone else or it hurts someone else rather than it hurts you, right? So, a lot of times when people don't eat healthy, like say for a woman, if people don't eat healthy, it actually can affect your child. It does. You being unhealthy even before having a child can affect the health of your child in the future. Like people are thinking, oh, it's only when you're pregnant and what you eat during. No, research has shown it's even before. What you've done even years before that, how healthy you are, it actually affects your baby. Which means if you start to realize this, like, oh my gosh, but what about my baby? And you're like, you're 15. It's like, I know, but my baby, right? If you have a reason good enough for it, and if you research and study why it's good, look, research and study why it's important, why it's so bad. And when you do that, you start to get your why, okay? A second thing is, like I said, if it's something you don't like to do, but you have to do, and you know you have to do it, you find out the reasons why it's bad or why it's good, but also it's good to have proper accountability. This is one of the biggest things that I see is proper accountability, and you have the right people, like proper, like someone who motivates you and like, hey, what the heck are you doing? Like, why are you killing yourself, right? And you have to realize that having the proper coach or the proper person, advisor, counsel with you makes a big difference. And this is why anyone successful has a coach, has a mentor. Yeah, you should go through a program. You should do it. You should put it through your mind. Find out why. Research it more. Why is it important? Why is it going to be dangerous to me? And then get the right people together and have a group that does it together. That in the times you might make mistakes, you get yourself, they'll pick you back up for it. Yeah, it's a lot of times is, because I don't like it, then it's like, oh, I don't want to do it because I don't like it, right? I don't want to wake up early. I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't like it, right? But if you find out, like for instance, you might not like waking up early, but if someone were to tell you, like, let's pretend that your thing is you want to be super successful, make a lot of money, and I told you that every billionaire and every person, CEO that's rich, they all wake up before 5 a.m., you'd be like, really? It's like, yeah. If you really want it, you got to do it. It's like, and if that's enough motivation, you'll do it. Right? So it's something that you have to really think about, research. Don't just say, I don't like it. Why do I have to do it? Sometimes, you might have to find the right people to be around. Because if the people around you don't like doing it either, it's going to affect you also. But you need to research it, study it, find the why. That why becomes so important. And then accountability. Okay? Thank you, Grace, in the Philippines. Last question today, I think. If there's any more questions, quickly write it down because I'm on the last question right now. And this question says from Lo Yan Lan. I've seen this name before, right? KL, from KL. If I don't stay consistent, am I a failure or is it just a big mistake? How can I get back up and learn from my mistakes? Okay, so if I don't stay consistent, which means that you completely stopped and you're not doing it anymore, right? So I would go back to like the 4 things I talked about today. Do you have a reason? Do you have a why? You got to start with the why. Do you have a why? Is it good enough? Or how many are you picking? Are you picking 2, 3, 5, 10 things? Also, mistakes don't mean failure. Are you failing because you're by yourself? Do you have proper accountability? Because I'm telling you right now, the things that you try to do by yourself, more likely than not, you will fail. Like you'll stop doing it. Why? There's no one in the beginning, everyone motivates themselves. But it's in the difficult times in the middle. I'll tell you another thing that you should know is, you got to forget your feelings. Because in the middle of anything you try to do, you're not consistent yet. In the middle of anything, your feelings will tell you, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's going to be all the time. Even for me, when I wake up at like 4 o'clock every day, 3:50, 3:45, I'm waking up. You know what my body tells me? That's what my body says every single day. My body's consistent with that. It hates 3:45. That's what my body says to me. But you have to ignore. Because you know that those feelings are normal. In the beginning, you have to ignore these feelings of, I don't want to do it. You have to learn to ignore them. Because your body doesn't want it anyways. And you're not consistent, it's not something that's done before. Right? And that's why we have to be people who understand, right? With the 4 things I told you today, do you have them set in place? Because if you don't, you're going to have a better chance of failing. Does it mean you're a failure? Well, we can fail at things, but failure is like a noun, right? It's like you are failure, right? And that's not, you can fail at something, But the moment you pick it up again, you're no longer, you haven't, you're no longer a failure of that thing. Because there's plenty of things in your life that you are successful in, right? There's plenty of things. So you can't really say failure is like your whole life. And that's a little bit too far. You might have failed in a certain thing, but you're successful in many other things. And this is why you have a job, you do well in school, whatever it is, and you finish your classes, your degree, whatever it is, right? But you could fail in something, but the moment you pick it back up, you're no longer failing in that anymore, right? It's something it's a long-term thing you have to think about. Because I can try something and fail at it like 15 times, but on the 16th time, when I finally overcome it, I succeeded, right? I succeeded. But on the flip side again, if you succeed in something, but then you fail, all of a sudden you stop and I start drinking again, I fall off the wagon, then, I got to pick myself back up and do it all over again. So you have to think very, very long term. Failure means that now that there's no point of living because you're just a failure in life. No. We fail in lots of things in life, but your life isn't a failure. Right? Just certain things that we fail in, but we have to pick ourselves back up and do it again. So with the 4 things you learned today, if you can get those 4 things set up for the things that you want to stay consistent in, the things that are really important to you, try that first before you say, I'm a failure. Because once you can do that, changes everything. Okay? So thank you so much for all the questions that you've done today. I don't think there's any more questions. Very grateful that all of you came out today for today's Bubble Talk on how to be consistent. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell for the YouTube channel Espresso with Sky. And if you're on the Facebook channel, just click and click and click and click. And we'll see you again. Everyone, have a wonderful week until we meet again next week. And those of you on Saturday, this Saturday, 1 p.m., I'll be giving a study on Saturday at 1 p.m. Just click on the link down below. And you'll be able to sign up for it. All right? Everyone, have a wonderful time. We'll see you guys again. Bye-bye.